Welcome back to the second segment of the Loveland Report and Loan Ranger Show. We've been talking about rates, what's going on in the economy right now, driving interest rates. Bruce has the best rates. Don't bother calling anybody else. I want to dive into something here, Bruce. It's kind of a big myth out there. International buyers. Is that a big deal?
Well, I mean, I close a couple a month.
I know, but you can do them. But
one of our other branches has the Lennar account. He closes probably 18 a month.
Well, Orlando only gets about 3% of the international traffic. And almost half of those people you think are from Europe or South America.
They're Brazilian mostly.
Some
Brazilian, Canadians.
Canadian is most of the market. Canadians about 35% of the international
Canadians
market.
Oftentimes will pull money out of their homes in Canada and pay cash down here. But I do a lot of Canadian loans. I mean, is it a big part of the market? No,
it's not.
But it is a part of our market.
What I want to say is that if you are worried about that part of the market, seeing your home, list with me. I mean, everything hits the MLS, everything hits the interweb. It's all out there for everybody to see, because those markets here in Orlando, I haven't done an international buyer except in the week-to-week, the Airbnb communities out by Disney, by the attractions, Reunion, Champions Gate, around Kissimmee. But it's just, you're available to everybody. When you're listed, all the buyers can see you. It doesn't matter where they're at.
I have extensive YouTube pages. We get international buyers all the time. Look at our YouTube page. But you know what? It reminded me of something about one of the last foreign nationals you and I had, and it wasn't one of your listings. It was on one of your listings, and it was our friend Greg, and he had his house listed, but he put solar panels on it, and that buyer could not qualify as a foreign national
the solar company
the solar panel loans. So another reason, don't do solar panels.
Exactly. But I just think when you're listed, the MLS is what's worked. There's a bunch of lawsuits. Of
course it is.
A bunch of lawsuits going around right now, Bruce, nationwide, where companies are mad because I can't put a sign up in front of a listing and not have it in MLS. There's all kinds of fines and things like that. And they're trying to change that. And there's some big companies, big brokerages suing National Association of Realtors about that. The MLS is what's worked. That's where you've got, let's say we got 20,000 realtors in Orlando, 5,000 of them work and sell houses every year. And that's where they go look, and that's where the buyer's going to end up. You want the best price for your home. You want to be listed. Make sure you're in MLS, or just call me. I always use MLS. There's nothing else. I sell less than 2% of my own listings each year, Bruce. Yes. Where somebody called me on the sign, or a neighbor saw it and called their friend, and they called me. It's just very, very rare that I actually sell my own listing. So I want all the other realtors out there to see my stuff and see what's going on. So, but just make sure you've got a full marketing plan. Make sure you're in MLS. I had some people, Bruce, they were not even MLS. They wonder why they had no.
How can that even happen? Is that even legal for a realtor? Well, a realtor has to put in an MLS.
A realtor does. This was a licensed real estate salesperson, and they did not have it in MLS. And the owner had no idea. For 90 days, they wasted time, and they were wondering what's happening, what's going on, why haven't I sold? And this person was trying to sell it themselves, and it was basically FSBO, which means you're reaching 3% of the market. So you're very important. You call us if you have, you want to get an idea of what's going on in the market around you, and you want to get the most exposure. That's what I give you at Loveland Properties.
Well, statistically, for sale by owners, 80% of them end up listing with an agent
and selling for 10% more than they do. So when they just sell by owner, so you want to expose it to everybody, then you know what top dollar is. So I've got some listings. We'll do those in the next segment. What else you got going on, Bruce?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about interest rates and where they are and who's buying. So right now you got interest rates that are running generally in the mid sixes. Let's just call it mid to high sixes.
Yep.
You can get it down a little bit lower if you want, but we are if we buy it down, and we're doing buy downs. But here's where I'm finding the opportunities. And I just don't think that enough first-time home buyer or entry-level buyers are really getting the picture. We all want somebody to tap us on the shoulder and give us that financial pointer, right? Wouldn't it be nice if you had somebody that you could count on and they were like, you know what, this is a great buying opportunity. You're going to make money and you can count on that happening. I think that buyers are so afraid because of affordability right now that they're not taking advantage of the opportunity that's right in front of their eyes. If you are at least not wanting to rent anymore, and you see the financial value in becoming a homeowner, if you just see that, then let's at least examine your opportunities, because there's only a few things that keep people from buying. Your credit isn't good enough. Well, maybe we can help you fix your credit. You don't you don't have enough cash to close. Well, maybe there's a program.
Yep.
Cleve and I just did a deal. We got so doggone much money for that client. What a happy client at closing.
Yeah, but
They
about
closed.
3 to 4% to get in, unless you're a veteran, and probably
I'm
a
telling
little
you, we
less.
do it all the time. But what's happening is you are allowing your head to get in your way of your intelligence. Get out of your own way and give me a call. I will do everything I can to help you become a homeowner. There is no such thing as a rich renter. Think about this. Are you really wanting to be a tenant on this planet? You don't want any ownership of your own planet. I mean, you really want to just be floating around out there. I think that everyone should be conscientious of becoming a homeowner. It's going to get you
What's
in
your
a better place.
first step to building your wealth?
Well, you look around the room. I challenge anybody out there that's renting right now. Look around your office, look around the people you know, and you look and divide the people that are homeowners versus the people that are renters. Do you know the average homeowner has $212,000 in equity? The average renter has less than 10.
Yeah. So, and actually that stat, we need to freshen that stat up. I think that's from a couple of years ago.
Well,
So, I mean, the
it may
house,
not be current to today, but it was current to last year.
and that's kind of the drag on the market right now. You got people with 3 and 4% interest rates. They're building equity in their home still. They're still
Big
going up.
time.
Soft economy for the past 3-4 years, and they're still building equity in their home by paying the mortgage down, and prices are still rising. So it's funny when I see something about mortgage rates or prices are climbing or skyrocketing, inventory skyrocketing. It's like it shifts 0.5%, and that's what these writers have to put in there. Like it's plummeting.
Foreclosures are up. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are up by
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah, 0.1%.
0.1%.
So all these things come into play, but I've never had somebody go, darn it, I shouldn't have bought that house. You know, that's like they build their wealth.
Rarely have I ever seen that happen before.
Yep. So if you have any questions, give us a call at 407-352-8118. We'll help you with your real estate plan, or go to cleveloveland.com.
Yeah, or call the Lone Ranger, Bruce Woodburn. I'm right here and I'm in your backyard. I got people on call. We can get your application started. We do in-person meetings, but I will make sure that you always have the very best interest rate, the lowest possible closing costs, and you get personalized, customized advice from yours truly. 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. Get your application started right there, and I'll get on the phone with you. We'll get everything buttoned down and get you out and help you find a house.
All right, I got some stats here, Bruce, about how sales around the country are down about 14%. And Central Florida, we're only down about 10 as far as dragging behind last year. So I just think right now is the time to get out there.
So if sales are down, but are prices up?
Oh yeah.
What are prices up? Do you have the stats
last stat we had was only
like 1.8%.
Yeah, so just
like
almost 2%. So they're still rising, which is a good thing. But even so, like you say, rent is 100% interest.
Well, you
Get
think
into a
about
house.
that. So what are you going to do? Let's just put this in perspective. So somebody will look at that and go, oh, maybe I don't want to buy right now because houses are only up 1.8%. Dude, that's your buying signal.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? You want houses to be up 25% and then jump in? You're going to be complaining
these
about
rates
the
go
price
low
of
six.
houses.
We get rates in the low 6s, high 5s. We're going to start seeing 5, 6, 7% appreciation.
Now, we've seen an improvement in interest rates in the last 2 weeks, but this week, not so much.
They plummeted. I saw it was 6.84, and it went down. That was the headline. It went from 6.84 to 6.77. No, that's what this writer put.
I watch this market like crazy, and it just irritates the hell out of me when I hear people.
That's a headline.
I know it's the headline, but that's why we don't do that sensationalism. It has dropped. The bonds dropped slightly, but ever so slightly.
But what the main thing is, when they get with you and they go to webringyouhome.com, you can analyze their credit and say, pay this off, don't pay that off, pay this much on this card, because like you said, credit score of 600 not the same rate as a credit score of 750.
Not even close.
And what's the average over, if somebody applies with you and you're working on average, how long do you work with them? 2 or 3 months? And then
it
how
really
much can you move
depends
their
on
score?
the complexity of their
Okay.
situation. And it also depends on what kind of assets they have to improve it. Because I can look at it and I go, okay, we're going to pay that card down to $10. We're going to close that account. We're going to open up an account over here. We're going to move the money over here. But I run detailed credit analyzers. I don't just look at it and guess. We put it through an algorithm that literally tells us what you should do to maximize your credit score. So, I mean, that's what you're getting when you come here. But I just see these buying opportunities, and I see so many people sitting on the sidelines, including our move-up buyers, because they're polarized. Oh, I got a 3.5% rate. I don't want a 6
Let's rent that
3/4%
puppy.
rate. Rent it.
Rent that puppy.
Exactly. What a wonderful opportunity to
Leapfrog.
rent that.
Yep.
And then, but sometimes they'll go, well, I really need the money from the cash out on the one to buy the new one. Well, let's look at that. Maybe you don't. Well, I know, but I want to put 20% down. No, don't put 20% down. Put 5% down.
Yeah.
Your return on your investment is much better, or 3.5%.
And it doesn't lock you in that home forever and ever and ever. You know, I wish I had bought more homes in my youth and also kept the first 3. I sold my first 2.
Our 2 big mistakes. I didn't buy enough and I sold too many.
Yep.
True that.
So
Cleve Loveland, 407-352-8118. That's 407-352-8118 for the voice of real estate here in Central Florida. Or you can reach him at cleveloveland.com, or Bruce Woodburn, Cross Country Mortgage. They call me the Lone Ranger. You can call me now at 407-250-9144, 407-250-9144, or webringyouhome.com.
all right, Bruce, survey here in Fox Business talking about what's the biggest complaint people have about the home buying process. You know what it was?
Prices.
The mortgage guy.
The mortgage guy.
Not knowing what was the mortgage process. Because if they don't, and it's funny, number one thing you can do to make the process smooth, work with the right mortgage professional. That was the go-to.
What great advice.
Yeah.
That is the number one problem.
Lack of communication, not knowing how to structure the deal, bait and switch at the closing table. Thought our rate was 6 3/4. Turns out we get to closing at 7.25, things like that. And you don't do that to people.
Well, I want to read you my mission statement for real quick. At Cross Country Mortgage Winter Park, integrity and compassion are at the heart of everything we do. We want to help individuals and families achieve their dreams by providing unwavering support, relentless communication, and a steadfast commitment to their success. Our mission is to build lasting relationships through trust, transparency, and excellence in every step of the journey. We empower individuals and families to build a legacy, achieve financial stability, and invest in their future through homeownership. That is embedded, and that is said and recited in every meeting in my company every day.
Yep.
We want, but you know what? I have to tell you a quick one. We don't have much time, but do you know I actually had a complaint recently for over communicating with a client? Now, the guy was a veteran. He had PSD, and he's suffering. So I get it. But my team, when you say I want a mortgage and I want to go out shopping, well, I can't write that pre-approval letter till I have your documents. And he got a little freaked out because my team was asking him for his documents. So it does happen. If I'm going to get a complaint about too much communication, I bragged to my wife. I said, honey, guess what kind of complaint I got?
Well, that was the number one part of the process that people don't like is not knowing what's going on or why that stuff is needed. And I think you do the best job of explaining that to them, or why you've got to do this type of loan and why their rate is not the best rate because of,
or how we get a better
A, B, and
rate.
C, or how you get a better rate. So very important. So if you got any questions on that, call Bruce, and you can call me at 407-352-8118. I just lost my screen over here. Oh, there it is, Bruce. All right.
Yep.
So we got to get going. cleveloveland.com. We'll be back for the final segment of the Loveland Report.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144, or webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. We'll be right back.